Hello everyone, welcome to my channel B&B CBS Gossip 24. Luna warns Remy that meeting Deke's colleagues will blow up in his face, and it does. Deke reunited with Sheila at Taylor's urging, and Liam and Hope agrees to let Beth officiate their wedding. Will and Electra are kissing in the design office and talking about their love. They talk about her day and the little party for Deke. She's excited to finally meet his boyfriend. She's sure he must be great. Electra will talk Deke. They sniff the air. Daphne arrives with Katie and Ivy. Electra gushes about how much she has bonded with Deke. She feels like they have shared so much. Electra obsesses over Deke. In the office, Hope tells Deacon and Deke that Beth will be officiating the wedding. She asks her brother if they will really be meeting the man in his life today. Hope pointing at Dad. Deacon wonders if he can meet him too. Hope says everyone is dying to meet the mystery man. Deke didn't want to parade him around for them to pick apart. They tease him about that. Deke and Deacon talk to Hope about Beth. Deke is looking forward to introducing his man to everyone. Deacon reminds them he needs to work. Before he can leave, they ask about Sheila. He knows they want him to leave her and move on but urges them to give him a break. Deke and Hope talk about Sheila. Will is left alone with his mom and he tells her how determined he is not to let anyone hurt Electra again. Will Katie talk Electra support? Ivy and Electra go to the showroom. Ivy says she seems to be more in love with Will than ever, but she wonders if all this stuff with Luna is too much to handle. Ivy and Electra talk Luna in showroom. Ivy says that Will is great but he let her down by not telling her about the night with the mystery girl. It would be different if Luna was not pregnant. She's not going away. Ivy asks if Electra okay. Electra knows all of this and appreciates her trying to protect her, but she trusts in Will. He will be there for her just like he protected her from Remy. She doesn't want to talk about Remy, just Deke and the special guy in his life. Electra tells Ivy believes in Will. Steffi's first air date back to B&B. Beyond the Gates recaps. Remy is at the prison visiting Luna. He's still wrapping his head around her being pregnant. Remy tells Luna how happy he is. She brags about how much it must be upsetting Electra. He feels bad for her after all he did to her. Luna isn't feeling bad and asks what's going on in his life. He's never been so excited about the future. Luna bragging to Remy. She's surprised when he explains that his Mr. Handsome is Deacon's son. She says he's a real cutie and Remy says he's super talented. When Remy says that Deke wants to introduce him to everyone at Forrester, she reminds him that everyone there hates him. Remy and Luna discuss Deke. He's sure it will be a shock to Electra but he's not worried about Will and sure the Forresters are too classy to brawl. He reminds her that he and Electra used to be close. He hopes he can show her he has changed and become a different person. Luna thinks that's a tall order. He's shooting for forgiveness. Luna reminds Remy everyone hates him. Remy admits Deke doesn't know about the photos. Deke is the best thing to ever happen to him and he's determined not to lose him. He's hoping that he can go to work at Forrester too. Luna doesn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but this seems unlikely. He's determined to win everyone over and repeats he will not lose Deke. Remy is determined to show everyone he has reformed. Luna worries this will blow up in his face and urges him not to go to Forrester. Remy doesn't want to lose Deke. Back in the Forrester showroom, everyone welcomes Deke and tells him how much he belongs there. Ivy, Deke and Electra talk about his BF. Electra assures him everyone will care about his boyfriend just like he does. Lil thanks E and heads off to fetch his man. Will notices that Deke has never mentioned the guy's name. Electra thinks he's being unnecessarily suspicious. Electra thinks Will too suspicious. Remy meets Deke in the design office and tells him how crazy it is to be there. They talk about their dreams and how awesome it would be to work together. Remy tells Deke how excited he is. Deke can't wait to introduce him to Electra. Remy forces smile. When Deke brings him boyfriend to the showroom, everyone freezes. Will grunts out Remy's name. Electra starts repeating his name. Everyone else asks his name in disbelief. Ivy Hope appalled. Congratulates Hope, and not just on the designs, but on your engagement to Liam, Steffi says. Steffi Ridge congrats Hope. Your father of the bride. I am your wife. I will be there, Sheila tells Deacon. Sheila determined be at wedding. I don't want them at the wedding, says Beth. Beth doesn't want Sheila there. Who baby? Asks Liam. Sheila, she says. What you did was deranged, Deke tells Remy. Remy pleads with Deke. I'm begging you not to judge who I was, pleads Remy. It wasn't. Remy Price stood near the design board, dressed sharper than usual, his expression somewhere between confidence and nerves. He was supposed to meet Deke Sharp's old business associates, a group of people Deacon once called the ghosts of my bad decisions. Ridge had warned him not to go. Steffi had rolled her eyes. But Remy had made up his mind. He was done being treated like a kid, a charity case, a secret forester with something to prove. Luna could see it in his eyes, the same defiance that once lived in Thomas when he thought he could control the storm. Remy, Luna said softly, turning from the window. You don't have to do this. He smirked. You sound like my father. That's not a compliment, she said gently. You don't know these people. Deke's colleagues aren't businessmen, they're opportunists. The kind that smile while they plan how to cut you out. I can handle a meeting, he said. Besides, if I show them I'm serious about the textile expansion, they'll take me seriously. Luna stepped closer. No, they'll take you apart. Remy, they see you as leverage, Deke's son, Ridge's project, Forrester blood they can manipulate. I'm begging you, don't go. He sighed, brushing her off with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. You worry too much. And you listen too little, she murmured. By noon, Remy was gone. Luna stood in the design studio, staring at her phone, debating whether to call Deacon. Her gut twisted. Every instinct told her something would go wrong. And she was right. The meeting took place at a sleek downtown lounge, the kind of place where deals were made in whispers over $20 coffee. Remy arrived early, the file in his hand heavy with projections and mock-ups. He had done his research, he thought he was ready. Then Cole Maddox walked in, Deke's old partner, sharp suit, sharper grin. Two other men followed, silent, assessing. Remy Price, Cole said, shaking his hand. Heard you've got ideas. Big ones. Textile diversification, right? That's right, Remy replied. Sustainable production. New markets. I'm looking for investors who understand legacy and innovation. Cole's grin widened. Legacy's one word for it. The Forresters have a long one. Complicated, too. Remy stiffened. I'm not here to talk about family drama. Everything in this town is family drama, Cole said. And yours just happens to print money. The men laughed. Remy tried to hold his ground, presenting his proposal, but each question they asked seemed to cut deeper, less about business, more about who he was and who owned him. So, Remy, one man said, leaning back. You really think the Forresters will back your plan after that little press conference meltdown? Or is this your way of proving you're not just Deke's mistake? Something snapped in him. You want to talk business, fine. You want to talk bloodlines, I'm done. He started to stand. Cole's tone dropped, dangerous now. Sit down, son. You don't walk away from an opportunity we created for you. Remy froze. Created. Cole's smirk returned. Where do you think your data leak came from, kid? Who do you think fed those Spencer boys the file that tore your family apart? Sheila Carter didn't just have one puppet. She had three. Remy's pulse pounded. You're lying. Am I? Cole said. Why do you think she disappeared right after you were born? The words hit like a blade. What? Cole shrugged. Ask your father. Or don't. Either way, you just inherited her mess. Remy turned and walked out before they could see the shock on his face. She grabbed her bag and rushed out, her heart pounding. She didn't know who sent it, only that it confirmed her worst fear. By the time she reached the lounge, Remy was gone. The waiter told her he'd left looking white as a sheet. She found his car parked crooked at the curb, the engine off, the rain starting again. Remy sat behind the wheel, staring blankly at nothing. Remy, she said softly, knocking on the window. He didn't move. She opened the door and crouched beside him. Talk to me. What happened? His voice was hoarse. They knew about Sheila. Luna froze. What do you mean? They knew about everything. The leaks. The press conference. My name. He broke off, unable to finish. They said she disappeared right after I was born. Luna, what if she's connected to me? Luna's breath caught. That's not possible, He looked at her then, really looked, and the fear in his eyes chilled her. You sure? She wanted to say yes. She wanted to tell him it was absurd, that Sheila's evil couldn't reach that deep. But in her heart, she wasn't sure at all. Lightning flashed outside, reflecting in the windshield. For one fleeting second, Luna thought she saw a figure standing in the rain across the street. A woman, tall, still, watching. When she blinked, the street was empty again. Remy, she whispered, gripping his hand. We need to go. Back at Forrester that night, the storm rolled in again. Ridge and Steffi argued upstairs. Hope was on the phone with Deacon. Luna sat beside Remy in silence, the air between them charged with unspoken questions. Finally, he said, You told me not to go. Luna shook her head. And you didn't listen. I thought I was proving something. You were, she said quietly. That you're still human. He gave a sad laugh. Feels more like a target. Thunder cracked overhead, rattling the windows. Somewhere deep in the building, a light flickered. Once, then again. Luna looked up, her pulse quickening. Did you see that? Remy didn't answer. He was staring at his phone. A new message had just arrived. No name, no number. Bloodlines rewritten. Theme, in families built on love and lies, rewriting the past comes at a price. The morning after the storm felt deceptively calm. Los Angeles gleamed again, streets washed clean, sky too blue, sunlight spilling across the Forrester estate like forgiveness. But inside, the quiet was brittle, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. At the Forrester mansion, Steffi stood at the window, scrolling through her phone. News alerts were already spreading from anonymous gossip accounts. Forrester scion hiding secret lineage. Someone had leaked the message Remy received the night before. Welcome to the family, Remy. Her stomach tightened. She didn't know what scared her more, that it had been sent, or that it might be true. Footsteps echoed behind her. Ridge entered, coffee mug in hand, his expression unreadable. You've seen it? He asked. Steffi turned. It's everywhere. Do you think Sheila's behind this? Ridge didn't answer immediately. He crossed the room, staring at a photo of the family on the mantel, all of them smiling, frozen in some long-lost moment of unity. Finally, he said quietly, Not this time. What do you mean, not this time? Steffi pressed. Ridge sighed. Because if what I think is true, it started long before Sheila. At Forrester Creations, Remy sat alone in the design office, staring at his reflection in the mirror. He looked like his sketches, all sharp edges and half-finished lines. The phone buzzed with incoming calls, but he ignored them. He'd barely slept. Luna had tried to stay, but he'd sent her home. He didn't want her to see him unravel. He replayed the meeting in his mind, Cole Maddox's smirk, the venom in his voice, those 5 words, she disappeared after you were born. He didn't know what to believe anymore. Was it a lie? A manipulation? Or had everyone he trusted been protecting a truth too dangerous to say out loud? The door creaked open. Deacon entered, hesitant. You look like hell. Remy laughed bitterly. You'd know. Deacon sat opposite him, leaning forward. I know what you heard yesterday. Cole and his guys. I don't care about them, Remy snapped. I care about what they said. About Sheila. About me. Deacon's jaw tightened. They are vultures. They use half-truths to make chaos. So it's not true. Remy demanded. Tell me she's not part of this. Deacon hesitated a second too long. Remy's breath hitched. Oh my God, it is true. Remy. Tell me the truth, Dad, he shouted, standing now, trembling with anger. Who's my mother? Deacon's voice cracked. It's complicated. Who? The silence that followed was louder than any storm. At that same moment, Ridge entered the building, his expression grim. Steffi trailed behind him, her phone buzzing non-stop. They found Deacon and Remy mid-argument, the tension already suffocating the room. Ridge spoke first. You were supposed to tell him years ago. Remy turned sharply. Tell me what? Deacon's face went pale. Ridge, don't. No more lies, Ridge said, his tone iron. You've been protecting him for the wrong reasons. Remy's voice was shaking now. Protecting me from what? Ridge looked at him, and in that moment, the truth finally broke. Sheila Carter isn't just your father's past, Ridge said softly. She's your mother. The world went still. Deacon looked away, his shoulders collapsing under the weight of it. I didn't want you to know this way, he whispered. Remy staggered back. The air seemed to vanish from the room. No, he breathed. You're lying. Ridge's voice was gentle now, but it carried years of regret. Deacon met Sheila a long time ago, before any of us knew what she really was. She got pregnant. She left before he even knew. You were born under another name. She gave you up. Deke adopted you as his own, thinking it would protect you. Remy shook his head. You're saying she gave me up like some mistake. She was running, Ridge said. From her past. From herself. Remy turned to Deacon. And you knew. Deacon's eyes filled. I found out later. I swore I'd never let her touch your life. I thought if I stayed quiet, she'd stay gone. She didn't, Remy whispered. She never does. In the hallway, Luna listened, frozen just out of sight. She hadn't meant to overhear, but once she caught Sheila's name, she couldn't move. Ties blurred her vision. Every warning, every nightmare she'd had about Sheila, suddenly made horrible sense. When she finally stepped inside, Remy turned to her with hollow eyes. You knew something, didn't you? Luna's voice broke. Not this. I swear. I just felt it. He let out a bitter laugh. You felt it. Great. Maybe you can feel what it's like to find out your mother's the woman everyone prays stays dead. Later that evening, the Forrester family gathered in silence. Deacon sat alone, staring at his hands. Ridge stood by the window, lost in thought. Steffi finally spoke. So what happens now? Ridge's eyes darkened. Now we find her. Before she finds him again. Deacon looked up. She'll come for him. She always comes back for what she thinks she owns. Night fell fast, the city glittering like nothing had changed. But inside the quiet, Remy sat on the cliff outside the Forrester estate, the ocean roaring beneath him. He held a photograph, one he'd found among Deke's things, of Sheila, younger, smiling. His mother. He didn't know whether to hate her or miss her. Lightning flared far out over the water, distant but growing. And in that white flash of light, he saw something, a figure, standing at the edge of the cliff path, watching him. A woman. Her hair whipped by the wind. When he blinked, she was gone. Remy Price sat on the edge of the couch, elbows on his knees, the flicker of the fireplace casting him in uneven light. The photo lay on the coffee table, Sheila Carter, young and smiling, holding a baby no one could name. The same photo Ridge had found in the archives. The same one Deacon had tried to hide. Remy couldn't look at it anymore. He ran his hands through his hair, breath shallow. Every part of his life, every friendship, every whispered compliment at Forrester, suddenly felt like it had been built on a lie. He wasn't just the lost son of Deke Sharp. He was her son. The woman whose name the family still spoke in fear. A knock startled him. 3 slow taps. Then silence. He frowned, checking the clock. Almost midnight. Another knock. Louder. Insistent. He stood, hesitant. Who is it? No answer. He moved toward the door, muscles tight, a creeping chill threading through the air. He reached for the handle, paused, then opened it a few inches. The porch was empty. The wind stirred the trees. The garden lights flickered. He stepped out, scanning the path, nothing but shadows and the faint hum of the ocean. And then he saw it, a small box resting on the doorstep. Remy knelt, heart hammering. The box was plain, wrapped in brown paper, no address, no note. Only one word scrawled across the top in careful script. Son. He froze. Inside the box was an old cassette tape. A real one, black plastic, label handwritten in faded ink, Play Me. For a long moment he just stared. Then, despite every rational thought screaming not to, he carried it to the old stereo on the side table. He pushed it in, pressed play. The tape hissed, a low, crackling sound, like static. Then a woman's voice filled the room. Remy, if you're hearing this, it means they told you. He stopped breathing. The voice was soft. Warm. Familiar in some strange, instinctive way. It carried an echo of danger and comfort, perfectly intertwined. I never wanted to leave you. They took that choice from me. They called me crazy. Dangerous. But I was only trying to protect you from them, from the Forresters, from the Spencers, from him. Remy's hands trembled. Oh, my God. Deacon was weak. He loved me once, but he loved their approval more. I couldn't let them use you the way they used me. So I disappeared. But I watched, Remy. I always watched. There was a pause, a faint sound of a heartbeat caught on the microphone, maybe her breath. You have his eyes, but you have my fire. Don't let them tame you. They'll tell you I'm the monster. But monsters don't send lullabies. A faint melody began playing behind her voice, haunting, familiar, a nursery tune distorted by time. I'll see you soon. Don't be afraid when you do. Blood always finds its way home. The tape clicked off. For a long time, Remy sat motionless, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. Then his phone buzzed on the table. A message. No number. You listened.